Hey there, YouTube. It's the Light here to bring you another very important news briefing. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to mention that in the description of these videos, I'll be including links to relevant articles and, the things that I'm speaking about in the video, just so that if you're interested in reading up on it, you can go and check out the things that I'm reading, at least some of what I'm reading, because I read news all day and I have a lot of different sources. But anyways, let's get into today's briefing. I wanted to start off with a cool story regarding the cannabis industry. I actually used to work in the cannabis industry, so I follow it very closely, and there are some very interesting developments, especially in the Canadian companies right now. And I noticed that Aurora Cannabis, the by far biggest cannabis producer in the world now, on their way to producing over 1 million kilograms annually within the next 2 to 3 years, has announced that they have big plans to expand into the United States. Now, this is a Canadian company, and they have worldwide expansion with Aurora Nordic and a U.S. spin-off called Australis Capital right now. So they're really, really well networked, and they just keep buying and expanding and expanding. Man, it's big money, and whoever is really running this company, I know their CEO, Terry Booth, is very smart, but the people, the money behind it, are also very smart, and they have a big long-term plan. It's pretty incredible, and they've announced that their U.S. expansion plan is very much geared toward the industrial hemp industry, which I think is incredible. See, because industrial hemp is a green revolution. I mean, it's going to change the entire world, and the U.S. is going to be the cornerstone of this movement. You can build houses, textiles, clothing, and all of that with hemp, but you can create plastics. I mean, all of the plastic waste in the ocean could be nutritional, biodegradable plastic, which, even if it was consumed by a sea turtle, would just give it really valuable proteins and amino acids. And man, we could just reduce our waste footprint and everything, instead of doing what we do right now, which is making all of our plastics out of petroleum. So industrial hemp, very key there. And of course, there are so many medicinal properties to it. It is cannabis. You can use the fibers for a number of things, but what we call hemp is cannabis sativa, just in variations which have different uses. The plant can be engineered to do so many different things, and I'm really excited to see Aurora Cannabis expand, as the U.S. even has a bill to legalize marijuana properly, the way alcohol is right now. It's called Bill HR 420. They haven't voted on it or anything, but it's out there. So there are big developments. It's not stopping, and 2019 is bound to be another huge year for the burgeoning cannabis industry. Keep watching Aurora Cannabis, especially if you're an investor. I would really look at this company. I'd look in at getting there early before they blow up, because this company is going to be huge. They already are. So it's exciting to watch, and whether you're interested in investing or whether you're just interested in watching the industry, or maybe you just love cannabis, it's really cool. And it's cool to see the decriminalization and all of this acceptance and kind of understanding come to society, because cannabis has been so misunderstood for so many years. It should have never been prohibited. And it's so crucial to things. Henry Ford's first prototype Model T was actually constructed using cannabis composite material, and it ran on hemp biofuel. Little known fact, but that's the truth. So, big stuff happening there. Let's keep it moving. Now, with international news, I just wanted to touch on what's going on in Venezuela right now, because they've had a presidential election, and seems like the opposition to Maduro has won. See, and the U.S.-backed candidate declared himself president the other day. Now, everything's really quiet right now, and he's saying he won. It seems like the people are behind him, as they, of course, would be, because Maduro has been terrible. He's destroyed their economy, thrown the whole country into collapse, and Maduro's pretty rabid socialist. So people are pretty sick of him there. And this US-backed president is offering essentially a completely different path. But, you know, this could result in kind of a Venezuelan spring of sorts if Maduro doesn't want to peacefully let go of office. So I'm watching that development very closely to see what happens in Venezuela over the next week or two, because it could be very intense. This could end up even being a flashpoint conflict with U.S. military involvement if things get too hot. So, you know, it's something to keep an eye on in a big way. Now, for more U.S. news, I wanted to talk about an issue, a story really, that is going on right now. And, you know, not to get into the weeds or anything, but Roger Stone is being indicted with 7 counts by the Mueller probe. And Mueller's saying that he has been involved with Russia as an agent to influence the election. And really the indictments are saying that Stone obstructed the agents and that he lied during his initial testimony. Stone says that that's false and that the accusations are baseless, but we have yet to see the case come out and all of Mueller's evidence. I'm sure that he has files and files and files to back up his case. So, you know, this could be very bad for Roger Stone, but Stone is standing stone cold and, you know, he's not budging. But it's interesting because Mueller's accusations are all based around the emails of Hillary Clinton's server that ended up on WikiLeaks. And, you know, this issue regarding WikiLeaks really, it's something that I feel very strongly about because WikiLeaks has been demonized and its founder, Julian Assange, is stuck in an embassy somewhere, dying and rotting with no ability to move or really do anything. I don't even know how WikiLeaks is still operating right now, but they must have a lot of staff and other support besides Julian Assange. But they're saying that Roger Stone had prior knowledge of WikiLeaks and that he somehow was involved in leaking the emails or the communications with WikiLeaks regarding the Hillary Clinton emails and all of that. That's really what his indictment is about. And, you know, he may very well have done what they're indicting him for and lied about it. Seriously. I mean, it doesn't look good, especially because he pretty much announced that the emails were about to drop right before they actually did. That does show that he knew that there was something going on. Now, his involvement, that's still somewhat questionable, but it's a very interesting case because WikiLeaks is being demonized for essentially what in a lot of cases would be regarded as journalism. And my first exposure to WikiLeaks was completely accidental. It was when I was 15 years old, and I was doing some research on collateral damage and kind of our drone combat in the Middle East for a school project. And I ended up stumbling across WikiLeaks just from a simple Google search. I had heard of WikiLeaks and just thought like, oh, isn't that like secret website? Why am I seeing this? And I opened up, and you know what it was? It was a YouTube video that they had posted, and it was from an Apache helicopter of a U.S. unit, and the helicopter was firing upon a journalist with a camera, mistaking him for a terrorist and just laying waste to this dude. And essentially it was a video exposing the killing of innocent civilians accidentally by our troops with our big, massive, sophisticated weapons from the air. The video was called Collateral Murder. And right now, I don't think you could even find it if you wanted to, but that was back during Bush. And man, it's interesting because WikiLeaks exposes that. I mean, that's really what they did at first, was exposing the kind of wrongdoings of the United States in the Middle East. Whether or not you really feel strongly about those deaths doesn't matter. It's journalism, and it's really kind of sad to see that they're being demonized now for just exposing things and doing really what all of the rest of these journalistic enterprises ought to be doing. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to keep watching the Mueller probe. I'm sure that he has evidence, and I'm sure that he's going to back this claim up. And you know what? Roger Stone, he could be going to prison for a very long time, and this could end up, snowballing to the end of the Trump presidency, depending on how the trial goes. But, regardless, I'd like to see a society where journalism and free speech is valued again. I think that we're kind of on that slippery slope here where we're starting to demonize institutions that just reveal truth, and we're starting to attack whistleblowers. I hope that this doesn't continue, but really, this channel, The Light, is devoted to the truth, and I just want the truth to come out no matter what it is, like I said. Now, I really appreciate you listening. Like I said, I'm going to put links to some articles in the description so that you can read up and see what I'm talking about. But I just appreciate you all, whoever's out there listening, watching. I hope that you enjoy. If you like the video, leave me a like. And if you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.